These might be really good. Hey, Greta and Rosanna, na. Wonderful. So I have one more thing I'm going to read, and definitely, like, if people have questions or comments, like, let's feel free to make this interactive. And I do feel like these are really great quotes that if you want to come back and listen to them over and over again, I mean, this is great meditative material. Just sit, listen, push pause, contemplate. I mean, we got time these days, you know. And one more page. I have one more page for you. Oh yeah, this is good. So then he says, convert yourself into your own deity. So your ego self identifies with that deity form and not your own, not your ego daily form. And then your deity can carry you into that ultimate truth. So this is there's a lot of practices that transform us into deity. And it's called deity yoga. You can do it in the Indian tradition, you can do it in the Tibetan tradition. But if we can really find ways to experience ourselves as deity and having that lead our perception of self. Now, of course, you can't just be doing a bunch of lame stuff and give yourself justification for it because you're a deity. It's talking about the whole package of this. This is really a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle, a yogic lifestyle. And I feel maybe above all, that's perhaps the message here in this great, grand, collective pause on the planet. It is an opportunity we will never have again, very likely, to reset our lifestyle, aligning it to our personal ultimate soul truth. What are we here for? What are you here for? Karina, so nice to see you, love. Yay. And how can we serve? So I'm going to read this again. He says, convert your own self into your deity. So your ego self identifies with the deity form and not your own daily self. And then your deity can carry you across to the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth of the universe, ultimate truth of who you are, ultimate truth of your soul purpose, all that good stuff. All right. My last little bit that I'm going to read, and again, for those of you who just popped on, it's Kali Yuga, everybody. We're in Kali Yuga right now. Amazing, epic, prophesized time, 12,000 to 120,000 years. We're not sure. I'm reading from this book, and this is basically Kali wisdom. So this is very ancient, sacred feminine wisdom from India, essentially aligned really to this experience we're all having together. So the last little piece I'm going to read here, it's this beautiful description of how Shakti and Shiva work together. So Shakti, so again, Shakti is universal creative energy. It's believed that Shakti is what has created form in the universe, that original potential power to create and birth. And then Shiva is the masculine universal energy. And the two of them forever are in this beautiful interplay, universal dance, continually inspiring each other and working together to create and destroy, of course, because they're both doing both. So the job of Shakti is to awaken her Shiva, to inspire him to rise. Once Shakti has emanated, Shiva becomes quiescent. Shakti incites him, inspires him into action so that they dance together. And by their dance, create the play of existence. Shakti provides the energy for the sublime cosmic dance. Shiva provides the control and rhythm. So essentially, the masculine energy is the structure, the foundation, the solid. And just that's the masculine principle of the universe. And Shakti, the feminine principle of the universe, is very without boundaries, without walls. It's fluid, it's inspiring, it's creative. It's masculine's very logic, feminine is more intuitive. So the two of them work together in that beautiful way. This is the meaning of the pictures in which you see Kali dancing on the prostrate body of Shiva. She is awakening him out of samadhi, out of his deep meditation, so he can dance with her. So many images of Kali is she's actually walking on Shiva. And so one of my teachers likes to explain it is Shiva is the dance floor for Shakti. And Shakti dances on him and awakens him to come up and participate in this union and this creation, this universal creative dance that the two of them do. One last little bit. So we have these ancient traditions teaching in symbology and metaphor, but then we have modern science that'll then teach in the same thing, just coming at a different aspect. So he says, look at the atom. The protons are like Shiva. They remain still in the center, attracting the electrons to themselves passively. The electrons, forms of Shakti, whirl about the nucleus, trying to unite with the protons. Shakti is dynamic because it is she who emanates. She moves outward and then tries to move back like the protons. The neutrons represent what happens when Shiva and Shakti reunite. All dualities like polarity and charge are finished. The manifestation dissolves. This is why the authorities say that absolute reality has no gender or attributes. All the attributes are contained within it. So the universe goes from duality, the reality of duality, which is what we live in, and that's where Shiva and Shakti are, what they represent as well. And then, but ultimately, ultimate truth is non-dual. And so you have their union and they become one, and they're representing, what the ultimate reality is. So again, back to what we started talking about today, universal truths. Universal truth is actually oneness, non-duality. And that's a really important thing to be thinking about these days, because as we're in Kali Yuga and so much is dissolving, thank you, Jesse Russell. As we're seeing so much dissolving, it's really, so we have the dance of Shiva and Shakti, these two great destroyers, these two supreme yogis who represent, Yab Yum as a neutron. Take that to your Yab Yum practice. But so the playing field is leveling right now, and to me, my system is really calming into knowing how many people, as much as it's difficult, but how many people are out of work right now, how the financial reality is leveling, how so many of us are home being quiet, hopefully, or trying to find ways to still our mind. So there's really a lot of this oneness happening where the differences of humanity are actually not so different. And we're actually coming closer into these universal truths and principles. So, so there is a lot of dense stuff to chew on here in this 45 minutes. So I really tried to cram it into half an hour, but it's just not happening. Once I get going on this, I just love sharing. So I'm going to finish by telling you about, I'm super duper stoked. So all of this that I'm sharing about has inspired 2 brand new Indian classical dance series. So which the style of Indian classical I do is called Odissi. And Odissi is the embodied display of Shiva and Shakti doing their universal dance of union. So this is a classical dance, but it's a very yogic based dance. And I'm going to show you a little demo in just a moment, a demo from the new series. So here is, I'm going to plop the info. So these start the last week of the month. Now, they're two separate series, but they work hand in hand. So one of them, Foundations of Odissi Indian Classical Dance, I'm calling it, so this is the foundations. It's called The Inner Realms of the Yogini Temple Dancer. So this is all the internal work. I'm going to give you her story of the temple dance. Then we do science of mudras, so the whole what's behind the hand gestures. Then we're going to do, we're going to talk about the energy body, the chakras, the wheels, and the nadis, the lines of the rivers of energy. So that's really important to optimize and do Odissi in the way it was intended. So Odissi is a daughter of a very ancient temple dance. And the temple dance was the dance of the universe, telling the stories and secrets of the universe. So in order to really do that, we need to know all these inner layers, which is why I'm calling this the inner realms of the yogini temple dancer. The temple dancer is first yogini. And then we will put all those together and do a beautiful prayer, moving prayer that is essentially awakening sacred geometry in our body, awakening the internal realms so that we can transform ourselves into the offering, which is a very yogic discipline. So that's series number 1 on Tuesdays. All of this is going to be online. And then series number 2, which will be Wednesdays, so we'll be all totally activated. And then we'll actually get into the choreography. And then this choreography, so I'm calling it Merging Sacred Feminine Traditions from India and Tibet, because we're telling a story of, hey Michael, nice to see you here. We're telling the story of 2 of these sacred feminine traditions. We have the Kali tradition, the Yogini tradition, and then we have like the cousins of the Yoginis, which are the Dakinis from Tibet. And they are both, they're the similar energies and similar job titles. So this particular choreography is bringing the 2 together. And if you are interested, so this choreography I'm going to show a part of right now is actually the very end. It's the cherry on top of the sundae for the choreography class that we're doing right now, which is this one. And you are welcome to join anytime because everything's recorded. So the choreography for the Odissi course is actually the ending point for this choreography class we're doing right now on Wednesdays. So we're doing a very extensive choreography, and then what I'm going to show you in a minute is the final cap. So you can join this anytime. Everything's recorded. You won't miss any. So there's that. And then, of course, I'm going to suggest doing these other 2 classes. So I'm offering every Friday is a Shakti Yoga class, which I consider the foundation to get you primed body, energy, mind for Odissi Indian Classical Dance. So every Friday at 10 o'clock Pacific, I am offering a yoga, Shakti Yoga, and Intro to Indian Classical Dance. Your first one is free. Happy to have you. And then after that, if you could leave a donation, that would be wonderful of your choice. Donations will help me and able to keep it going week after week, which it's really awesome. So I'd like to be able to keep it going. So there's everything that you would want to know to get moving. And so this, this type of stuff is really heady. And it's not designed to only be in the head. if we're going to wake up our body, mind, and energy, our spirit, we have to get in the body. So this is really important to study, but all of these classes that I'm offering you is what has been part of the essentials for what I find waking us up in the body in this modern time. So here we go. I'm going to show you a little tiny bit, and then I'll sign off. Okay. So I'm going to show you just half, and then I'll show you the other half next week. So we're going to do these Tuesdays until until I get the memo to stop. Okay. Now, we're talking about universal truths, Shiva and Shakti, universal energy, the feminine and the masculine. So let's see, here we go. This is half or part of what we're going to be learning in the Odissi Indian Classical, both the series. So we have a mudra here. We have a mudra here. Both of the mudras are from a very ancient system called Natya Shastra, a manuscript for the arts of India. And it was written somewhere around the 1st century, plus or minus. And so right there, before we even do anything, we are tapping into these ancient systems, teaching about how to embody the principles of the universe. These ancient mudras, very old mudras. So right there, we're bringing that system into our body with these mudras. So then we have the eyes and the head, and we start bringing in the bhava, the emotion, the actual presence of the deity. And the bhava is the last layer because it is complex to actually do the whole dance and invoke the authentic emotion, and not just for ourselves, but to actually transmit and inspire that feeling in the audience. So it's a very complex layer. It's the last layer that we learn when we're doing Odissi dance. So we have this going on, and you'll notice the chest. So we have a chest isolation going on, nothing else moving. So that is part one, is we're showing the beautiful eyes, the all-seeing eyes of the deity. Now notice what's happening down below. The legs are in this really strong posture. There's the third eye. And again, a very strong lower body, so that the upper body has the smooth, sensual freedom. So right there is a simple example of how Shiva and Shakti work together. So Shiva is the foundation, super strong. One of the first things we do in Odissi is we train the legs so that we can do all these other wonderful things without thinking about it, because we have the strong masculine foundation. And once this is strong, then we can do all this other beautiful feminine things on the upper body. So right here, we have a ton of symbology. So we see the isolation of the chest, but what this is representing, it's doing two things. It's representing, so Shakti is energy. Energy moves in wave patterns. So whenever you see an Indian classical statue, they always have these bends called bhangis. And so we're literally symbolizing, but we're also doing. We're bringing the Shakti in, and we're symbolizing the Shakti. So right there, we've got these universal principles, Shiva, the foundation, and Shakti. And so the dancer is bringing in these universal principles and energies into the body. So the dance is extremely yogic. It's extremely activating on every single level. And even just that little piece I just showed you has got so much going on. So that's why we're doing a 4-week series for this really beautiful piece. So that was part, and I have been talking for way too long. So let's see, any questions or comments before I sign off? Rebecca Willis, nice to see you. Been a long time. Brianna Absara, hey beautiful. I'd love to dance with you sometime. Consider jumping in this. Anyone? I'm about to sign off. Hi Jaishri, sister, good to see you. I'm gonna jump off. Any questions about the upcoming dance or anything about what we talked about today? A lot of heady, chunky downloads. Feel free to not listen to this again all at once, but maybe cut it up in pieces. And yeah, feel free to reach out. I'm home. I got time. I love working with people one-on-one privately to set up a home practice that is totally perfect and unique as you. Reach out. So in the Buddhist tradition, we always close by dedicating the merit. So any blessings that have developed today for myself or for you or for all of us, that we send these out to all beings, every single one, no one forgotten, all included, and that we together equally at the very same moment can awaken into our enlightenment together. Have a beautiful day, friends. So wonderful to see you here. Thank you so much. Love, 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 love.